such a big game, a battle that just can't be won. Life is such a long game, and we've only just begun. Life is such a hard game, yet this challenge is so fun. Life level 1.
Hello, Kristen.
Hey, Bryan.
We're finally recording.
Finally.
Sorry about that. It's late here. It's our bedtime. And it always seems like something's going to go wrong the moment that you think that you're about to get started.
Like this?
Yeah, she's pointing to a sign that we have in the center of our studio. And I spent so much time on this damn thing, and I put nice LED lights behind it. It was working fine all day. I turned it on right before we were about to record. It looked great for about 3 seconds. And then the left side just, well, if you're looking at it from like this perspective, the left side, one of the sides, it's no longer symmetrical. I'm on the light side. You're on the dark side.
Yeah, that's kind of, I was a bummer to me because I watched you spend a lot of time on this sign and it looked really cool with all the lights behind it. I mean, it still looks pretty cool, but yeah, it's just strange.
Well, you got a picture of it when it was working.
Yeah.
So what I could do is just, while editing, I could just like kind of superimpose it over the top.
Nah, that's fine.
Nah, I'll fix it. I'll return the lights. I'll get a refund and get some new ones. But I'm enjoying this already. We've only been recording for like a minute now.
Yeah.
But I kind of like this idea. I know it's strange sitting in front of cameras and lights for your first time in a long time, considering we don't, like, this isn't our profession.
Yeah. Yeah, right?
But I want to do this anyway, just for fun. That's the whole point of this, is it's supposed to just be fun.
Yeah, I mean, I feel fine. Like the lights in the camera I'm not nervous or scared or anything. I just don't really know.
You're not like afraid that a bear's going to come around the corner and eat you?
No, I feel fine. I'm just relaxing here with you.
Good.
Yeah.
These lounge sacks were a great idea.
Yeah, these things are comfy.
This was your idea. I've got to give you credit for that.
I might fall asleep while we're recording. I'm just kidding.
That might not make for a very interesting podcast. No, but there's so many people that I want to have a chat with. I was going to say interview, but that sounds too egotistical. I want to just chat with them and get to know them a little bit better, and also get their good stories captured in audio form. It's going to take a while to get people more comfortable with this kind of thing because it's strange. It's not normal. All of this is fake. This wall here, I built this wall. It's just 11 feet long.
I know, but I bet in this video though, it looks like we're in a little room.
Yeah. Well, that was the point.
Right.
Yeah. Part of design, one thing about design is that they recommend that you kind of stay away from symmetry because you want to try to draw your eye in different places, and you want to follow the rule of thirds and the golden ratio and all that. But I've always liked symmetry. And so this is the design I came up with. It's asymmetrical now because this damn sign cut out on me. So that adds a little bit of flavor, I suppose. But if I had to ask you, what would you want out of this podcast? What would it be?
This recording session right now, or just in general?
In general.
I don't know.
Footsie?
Honestly, I think... No, I mean, in general, I think it would be cool for our kids to be able to watch this, and grandkids, and
then look back with their future technology and be like, wow, it's basically like their version of black and white. Like, look at you guys. This is so not 5-dimensional. Why can't I smell and taste what's going on?
I know, right? Yeah.
No, that was kind of one of the reasons why I started doing it too. You know what I just realized? We didn't do an introduction. I mean, I
Oh.
introduced you, but I didn't introduce the show. I guess I could just do it the same way I always do it. You're listening to Life Level 1. My name is Bryan McConnell. I'm here with Kristen Sortman. Is it all right if I say your last name?
Of course.
Okay. And today's date is June 1st, 2020. And this is episode 1 of the interview portion of this podcast. I've always done it just me in my pajamas, looking like garbage because it's right before bedtime.
Yeah, you can't look like garbage anymore.
I know, we've moved up a dimension, or a sense anyway. We're on to audio, or auditorial and visual now.
Mm-hmm. I'm proud of you.
Thanks.
Yeah, you've been working on this for a while, and it was your goal to record today, the 1st, June 1st, and you're doing it.
Yeah, it's rough. I remember the first time that it was rough setting up for this, I mean.
Mm-hmm.
And it just because I didn't manage my time correctly. I could have gotten a lot more done earlier on, and I tried, but you can only do so much. But the reason why I wanted to record today is because June 1st is the anniversary of when I first started recording 1 year ago, just the auditory version, and it was just myself.
Right.
And I've always wanted to do more interview type stuff, but the reason why, or maybe not interview type stuff, but just me and other people.
Right, I have guests.
Yeah. But the reason why I started doing just myself a year ago is because, one, I figured I needed practice anyway, and two, it's hard to get people to come to a location, take time out of their day, sit down on a lounge sack while I'm dicking around with lights and hooking up microphones and hitting record on the camera and setting all that up just right. It's difficult for people to take the time to do that. So I don't want to be reliant upon, or at the time, I didn't want to be reliant upon others and then have them possibly flake out or not show up or get here and just hate the idea and be kind of nervous and just kind of can't wait to get it over with, and then later ask me to not upload the video or the audio. I don't know. There's many scenarios that could potentially happen, but yeah.
Yeah, well, didn't you build a podcast table to mitigate some of those?
Yeah, let's not talk about that.
Okay.
There have been so many projects.
I know, that was a really good idea, though. That was a good one.
Yeah, I suppose. What she's talking about is I had this idea because on the last podcast that we started back in 2016, there was, I just had a brain fart. What was I talking about?
The last podcast.
On the last podcast
We're
that
talking
we
about
recorded.
the podcast table that you built.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, that's right. I had all of the audio equipment in these cases, and I would have to carry the cases to a place, take all the audio equipment out, set it all up, record, tear it all down, go home and edit for 3 hours or however long it took me, and then upload. And then so I came up with this idea of a podcast table, which actually opens up kind of like a book, and you take the microphones out, close it, and then put them in these already pre-drilled holes that the stands perfectly fit in. And then it's a table, it's a folding table with wheels that makes it more portable. But I built it all in 3D first, just like with every wood project. I build it in 3D, make sure everything works. It looks great. The idea is okay, but I ended up buying oak, which is a really, really heavy wood. It's also a very expensive wood. So I spent a lot of money on wood, and I ended up building one of the tables because it was supposed to be 2 tables that you could connect on the left and right sides. Yeah, I ended up building one. And I realized how heavy it was, and I just didn't want to do it anymore. I didn't want to have to go through that, dragging it somewhere in my van, setting it all up, recording, and then tearing it all down, and then coming home late. So I just said, screw it. I'm just going to do audio for now. And then after, a 2-year hiatus or a 3-year break, I can't remember how long it was in between the last podcast and when I started recording this one. But yeah, I just didn't want to do all that. So I said, fuck it. I'm just going to build a recording studio in my basement. And look at this shoddy work. Look at this right here.
I mean, the sign itself looks pretty good, I think.
I think it looks all right.
I think it looks pretty good.
Nah, it looks okay. I'm always going to be a harsh critic when it comes to my own work. I could change the colors. Want to see?
What other colors are there?
What color you want?
I don't know. Does it cycle through the colors?
Oh, yeah. Check this out.
Automatically?
Do you want a fade or like a flash kind of thing?
I want a fade.
Oh, I accidentally hit the flash.
Yeah. It's a little fast, but that's all right.
Slow it down.
Oh, you can slow it down? Nice.
No, it's not nice because it doesn't fucking work.
Yeah, if it worked. That's really crummy. I mean, how long have these lights been on for? A total of 20 minutes?
Yeah, total.
Right.
That's about right.
Right.
Yeah.
That's...
Well,
yeah,
I decided I'm not buying any more China stuff.
Oh.
After the coronavirus.
Yeah, right.
That kind of made me decide, which sucks because I need a new phone.
Yeah, you do. You do need a new phone.
It's only 5 years old.
Yeah, only. That's like ancient in cell phones.
I want to thank you. I want to show my appreciation because, I mean, obviously you're a great mother. You're a great partner. You help around the house. You do a lot more chores than I do. But you've supported me through this whole thing. And I said before the podcast, I've said this to you a few times before as well. I said, thanks for letting me do this. And it's kind of weird when it comes out of my mouth, but it's me truly appreciating you giving me the freedom to be able to do what I want, as long as it's not detrimental to the family or taking quality time away from you and the kids. And it's not just you doing all of the chores all of the time. But that's kind of sad that I'm thanking you for that. And the reason why I'm thanking you, I'm saying phrases like, thanks for letting me do this, is because there's so many other people out there that are in relationships where if they even considered doing something like this, the woman would immediately tack like a Tasmanian devil and just say, no, it's going to cost way too much. It's going to take way too much time. You already have too many hobbies. Quit drinking beer and playing poker on Friday nights and just, I don't know.
Yeah, no, I know exactly what you mean. And I feel bad for people who are in relationships like that. I mean, it's sad. I mean, a lot of people say that relationships are about compromise, but I don't think that's the case. I don't think it should be about I don't think it's about compromise. Like if you really love someone and you love everything about them, it's not about compromise. I didn't feel like I was compromising anything for you to do this.
Yeah, I think the phrase is sacrifice. I think they say you have to make sacrifices to make a relationship work.
Right.
And
that's another one. Yeah.
That's true for everything. Like you have to make a sacrifice if you want to drive to the store, for example.
Right.
Like you have to burn some gas, you have to burn some calories to walk to the car and start it up. And then like your tires get worn out a little bit. The car breaks down whenever you drive anywhere. So your car is making a sacrifice in many little ways to get you from point A to point B.
Mm-hmm.
That's a really strange example.
But yeah, my point is that I didn't feel like I was sacrificing anything, or I don't know. And I just feel bad for people who are in relationships where they can't even go to their partner with an idea because they know they'll get shut down. Kind of thing.
Yeah, it's really rough, but they're stuck. What other options do they really have? That's what's going in their head. That's what they're saying in their head anyway. What options do I have?
Right.
Because the options are stick around but ignore them, which doesn't help the situation, or leave and not ignore them, which is also kind of strange. Like when people leave and then they are sending text messages to their ex. I always find that so strange, but it's only because I've been in a relationship for a while. I used to do the same thing. I used to want to text my exes, but I was pretty good about not doing that sort of thing. Mm-hmm. But yeah, all of those scenarios, there's sacrifices with all of those scenarios, for example. So anyway, what I was going to say is, that you've known for a long time that this was a goal of mine, was to set up, for whatever reason, I wanted to decide to start a podcast. It's not the best financial plan. It's not a very lucrative plan, I guess I should say. It takes a lot of time, takes a lot of energy, takes a lot of effort. And really the only benefit that you get out of it is the final product, which if you end up consistently sticking with a podcast, in the end you have almost too much product to go back and watch or listen to anyway.
Right.
Like my plan was, if I record every night for a year, I'll have 365 episodes at the end of the year. Like that was my whole idea. 366 because 2020 was a leap year.
Right.
But I'm not going to go back and listen to all of those. I mean, yeah, that was my plan, was when I was really, really old and I was, maybe about to get dementia or develop Alzheimer's, maybe I could go back and listen to my old podcasts and, I don't know, see if that can help. Hopefully they'll find a cure for that anyway. But the idea is my plan was when I was really, really old, just go back and maybe listen to how stupid I was when I was younger. But,
who is this cocky son of a bitch? What a stupid podcast. Why am I listening to this? Grandpa, we're showing you this so that this is you. You can remember yourself. Something like that.
Yeah. That was actually a really good impression of the older version of me. But yeah, so this was a dream of mine. I wanted to ask you, what are some of your goals after we're done with, and when I say done, I just mean after we get our kids to a point where they're somewhat able to take care of themselves. What are some of your big goals or big dreams?
Oh, you mean like once I have a life again?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, we both know that one of our biggest goals right now in this current time is to get some sleep.
Yeah, for sure. That's always a goal.
But what's your super duper long-term goal?
Long-term? I mean, I don't know. I'm thinking like baby steps. Like I want to get a job. I'm tired of being home all day, every day. I mean, I know it's a blessing. And I feel fortunate that we can do that. Mm-hmm.
Because it is by choice.
Right.
You could get a job.
I could get a job. I could get a job now. Right. But I wanted to raise my own kids.
I want you to raise our own kids.
Right. But I'm ready to get back out there and communicate with other adults on a daily basis.
Too bad you can't. We're locked down.
I know. You have no idea how.
I don't know.
How awesome it's been having you here every day.
Oh, because of the lockdown?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like,
Well, I have a pretty long
even,
commute too.
Right. I know. I can't even explain to you like how awesome it's been having you here. Just having another adult just in the vicinity. I mean, obviously
Just
we
a
live
grown brain with a fully developed frontal lobe.
Right.
Well, almost fully developed. I don't know if I'm quite there yet. But that you can communicate with other than just these little monsters that are running around destroying everything.
Yeah, I mean, and we live in a townhouse and we have next door neighbors that we're really good friends with, and that's another awesome thing that I really like. Because I imagine if we lived in one of those communities where it's just like the houses next to each other, that we would never really see our neighbors or talk to them. But anyways, so yeah, getting a job would be cool. I'm ready to get back out there and make some friends maybe. And then I want to do jiu-jitsu again. I'm really excited to start up jiu-jitsu.
Yeah, why aren't we doing that now? We got the mats right over there.
Yeah.
No, I was thinking
question.
When we get back into it, because I haven't been in like 2.5 months. You haven't been in what?
Over
2
a year.
years? You went once about a year ago. And how long was it prior to that you trained?
Hold on, let me think about this. So I stopped going when I was about 3 or 4 months pregnant with Jolene. Right? So I think I stopped going in
You were rolling
April.
while you were pregnant?
Yes. Yeah, I think I stopped going in April.
How many
March
years
or
is
April.
it approximately, or months?
What? What's the question?
How many years has it been since you really trained jiu-jitsu? Not just went that one time.
Oh, yeah, it's been over a year. It's been since... Okay, so remember I competed in August of...
Oh, that's right.
2000...
2018.
2018. That's what it was. Yeah.
I think.
Wait.
You got 4th place.
Yeah, 2018.
You got 4th place out of 4.
And that was... No, it was like out of 8.
I know. No, that was awesome. Your first tournament.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun. And that was without actually doing like tournament training. That was just me going to class twice a week.
2 triangles?
Yeah.
That's impressive.
That was just me going to class twice a week. And I wasn't even doing any special training. I wasn't doing like competition training or anything. I just said, fuck it, I just want to compete. I'm tired of making up all these excuses like, oh, I need to be this amount of weight, and I need to be, this belt level, and I need to be fast, and I was like, fuck it, I'm just gonna do it and just have fun.
I'm turning this off.
Okay.
It's grossing me out.
So yeah, jiu-jitsu, that'd be fun I'm excited to get back into jiu-jitsu again, like really get back into it.
Yeah. My joke was that after this quarantine, I think everybody should drop a belt level. Sorry, you're a white belt again.
Yeah, that's okay. I mean, I haven't been to jiu-jitsu in like over a year, so it's fine.
Yeah, there's got to be some sort of algorithm that can easily predict how much jiu-jitsu you lose in just 2 weeks. Like I've taken 2 weeks off before and I come back and I'm like, oh yeah, that's where your leg's supposed to go. Or oh yeah, you got to be tight on the thighs here or whatever.
Yeah, well, the information's in there. You just got to pull it out.
It comes back, yeah.
Yeah, it comes back fast. It's like riding a bike.
And it's sad because we have mats here and you and I could roll. I broke Hufio. I broke our dummy. I ripped a hole right in his crotch while I was guard passing. And I've been saying that he looks like an ugly sex doll now.
Yeah, he does.
Poor guy. There's just foam everywhere. It took so long to stuff that dude too. But my point is we could be practicing more often if we didn't have those little.
Yeah, I mean, the thing is
crotch
that
goblins
it's about
upstairs.
priorities is what it comes down to. And right now, jiu-jitsu isn't a priority in my life. I want to get back to it, but could we come down here and practice for 20 minutes every night? Yeah, sure we could, but I'd rather spend 20 minutes sleeping.
Mm-hmm.
So.
I know. It's rough. That's why I'm here to promote the idea of celibacy. Nah, I'm just kidding.
Then who's going to take care of us when we get old?
Yeah, that's a good question. No, that is one of the reasons why I wanted to have a whole litter of kids. We're stopping, though. We have a 3 right now. I was going to say 2.5.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's a good place to stop. Someday we will have the time again. Time and energy to come down here and roll a little bit. And I'm hoping that will set a good example for our children as well. If they see us beating each other up.
Yeah, for sure. I can remember.
Just domestic violencing each other. Over and over again.
So not to go over your joke or anything, because that was an amazing joke. My dad used to play soccer as an adult, like when we were kids. Like my mom would take us to his soccer games.
Nice.
As young children, me and my brothers would go watch my dad play soccer. And
yeah, you've told me this a couple times. He tore his ACL, right, in a game?
Yeah, but he never got it fixed.
He never got his ACL fixed?
No.
But that was his last game, I assume, right?
I don't even remember. I don't remember exactly how long ago, because it happened a really long time ago. I mean, this was like 15, 20 years ago that it happened.
No, but you and I, we like to choose our parenting style as one of emulation. So we try to emulate for our kids what it is that we want them to do. Mm-hmm. So rather than saying, all right, little Timmy, say thank you.
Right.
We say thank you for them.
Yeah.
To the person that we're thanking. Mm-hmm. They see that, and that actually does work.
Yeah, I agree. I think it does work really well.
There was one time our son genuinely was sorry, and he said sorry to some kid that he accidentally pushed down or something. I can't remember, but it genuinely took me by surprise, because he doesn't really do that with family members, but he's recognizing that we're out there emulating those habits.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, speaking of emulation, I think that's one of the reasons why me and my brothers are so much into the fitness side of life.
It's because you watched your parents do it.
Yeah, and then my mom ran marathons when we were in high school and beyond high school, but that's when she started running. Mm-hmm. So I think that really helped.
There are times where I'm in the room with our 8-month-old daughter reading, mm-hmm. and I'm just not really paying attention to her. I'm letting her crawl around and play with toys and stuff. And I'm trying to accomplish a goal of just making it to the next page.
Right. Mm-hmm.
But lately she recently started kind of crawling. So she's moving around. There was one morning where she just crawled up on my lap and was like trying to get my attention that way. And then she tried to put my book in her mouth. And it was extremely cute. Mm-hmm. And obviously she's only 8 months old. But our son sees me reading a lot too. I'm hoping that just by them seeing me reading, along with us reading them children's books at night, I'm hoping that they take a great interest in that. And when I say reading, I mean actually reading, not just listening to an audiobook.
Right.
But physical books. I mean, I know that people like to read on their tablets. And I'm sure there's probably some sort of tablet out there right now currently that doesn't actually emit light. It's just the...
Yeah, they're out there.
Yeah, okay. Like the old school calculators that we used to have when we were in high school. Mm-hmm. I don't touch any of that. I just buy the physical copies. But yeah, I'm hoping that they take a big interest in all sorts of stuff like that. Because I didn't read a lot when I was a kid.
No?
No, I didn't. I read the Harry Potter books because those came out at the perfect time.
Mm-hmm.
I started reading the first one when I was 11 years old, and Harry is 11 years old in the first book. So that definitely got me interested in reading. I remember I finished the first book, and my parents, I think, were separated at the time. I think that was it. My parents were separated, and the second book, I had the second book, but it was at my dad's house, and I was at my mom's house.
Mm-hmm.
And so I kept saying to my dad, all right, we gotta go. Like, I gotta pick up the second book and start reading it. But that, and also having bookshelves just around the house, kids physically seeing the books, I've heard will already kind of put that idea in their head that it's a good idea to participate in that. How did we get on the topic of emulation? Jiu-Jitsu?
Yes.
Yeah. Once they see how badass of a jiu-jitsu practitioner their mom is, and then they'll be like, Dad, you're all right. But yeah, hopefully they get interested in that. I'm not going to pressure my kids into doing anything that they don't want to do. However, I'm going to make them do jiu-jitsu. I want them to do jiu-jitsu. I think jiu-jitsu is very, very important for self-confidence, obviously self-defense. There are other sports as well that I'd like them to participate in, but what about you?
For what? What do I want them to do?
Yeah, what are some things that you would like the kids to participate in?
I want them to do a little bit of everything. So, like, our oldest daughter asked to do piano lessons. And it was like, okay, well, you're already doing gymnastics and soccer and swimming. There's no way I can fit piano lessons in there, but I wanted to. I want to do that for her. I want them to dabble in instruments. I want them to be able to come up to us and say, hey, I want to do this. And us be like, okay, well, let's look into it.
Hey, I want to start a podcast. I'd be like, no.
Oh, yeah. No, yeah.
I would just say no because I know what it's like to have to go through that.
Yeah. Well, our oldest daughter has already asked to start her own YouTube channel.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. And I said, when you can figure out how to do that, go for it.
Well,
and she was like, well, you're supposed to help me.
A couple years.
Yeah. She was like, you're supposed to help me and show me how to do it. And I said, no, when you have your own computer and your own camera and you figure out how to do it, that's when you'll be old enough to do it.
She's going to be doing all the editing on her tablet, if editing at all. It might just be one of those things in the future where
she won't
click and
edit.
upload.
Yeah, no, she won't edit.
Man, she's always running around the tablet trying to record things, and we're always walking around naked around here.
Well, you remember that one time she sent a naked Snapchat of me to Laura, and Laura called me and was like, she just sent me a naked Snapchat, and I was like, what?
That's really funny, knowing what I know of Laura.
Right.
Yeah, that's kind of an inside thing. Sorry, guys.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, she's not. I don't want her to have a cell phone until what age? What age would you want her to have a cell phone at? I'm thinking 15. If we can hold off that long.
Yeah, if we can
keep the microchip from getting implanted in her arm at the age of 8 or whatever.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. Yeah, and it will be heavily monitored. Her cell phone will be, for sure.
Yeah, I need to figure out how to do all that. I'm not
it
very
out.
good with like the cybersecurity side of things. I probably shouldn't say that on a podcast. I'm good. I'm great.
Yeah, no, it's super simple to do that stuff now where you can control like when their cell phone turns on and off and there's all kinds of stuff now where
you can limit screen time.
You can limit it, and they what is it? Like they can't make any phone calls except to 911 and you.
Mm-hmm.
You can just like flip a switch and their phone locks down and they can only call 911 and you.
Mm-hmm.
And all kinds of stuff. So
what are some other goals that you'd like? So you got obviously get a job, and then jiu-jitsu. But as far as the job thing goes, what's your goal with, like, you don't just want to get a bag of groceries at a grocery store.
Oh, no.
Do you have an idea of what it is you want to do? Because let me throw some credits out there. You have a degree in exercise science with a minor in nutrition, correct?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
What made you decide to get those degrees?
Gosh. I originally went to college for nursing, and after my first year of nursing, so you have to take prerequisites before you can get into nursing school, and you have to apply to get into nursing school. It's not just, oh, you have these classes, cool, welcome. It's you have to take these classes, and then
it's school before school,
right? And then
before school,
yes. And then after my first year of nursing, I realized I didn't want to do that. That's not what I wanted to do. So that's what, 5 years down the drain? Not really down the drain, but you get my point. So I wanted to go into something that I wanted to do, but I could still use my credits for as well. And so exercise science just seemed.
Was that the only reason?
What was
because you wanted to save your credits?
No, that was part of it. I wasn't going to go into, I don't know, but like political science. First of all,
what if you wanted to just completely do a 180 and just change?
I would have, but it just made sense for me to go into exercise science because I've always been interested in sports. I mean, in college, when I was taking these prerequisites, I worked as the athletic trainer's assistant at the community college I went to, and I loved that job. And that was taking care of athletes. So, as the
assistant, you took care of a team, like the individuals on a team?
Yes, of all the teams. So people would come in and I'd wrap ankles, I'd tape wrists, I'd do everything. And then I'd also help injured athletes and I'd take them through their exercises.
Nice.
Yeah.
I'm reading this book on mobility right now by Kelly Starrett, and I'm loving it. And
yeah.
It's funny how much, I mean, with any subject, it's funny when you realize, oh, I don't know shit about this subject. Mm-hmm. For the longest time, I didn't like the idea of foam rolling or using a lacrosse ball to break down.
You didn't like it?
What is it? Muscle fascia?
Yeah, the fascia.
I didn't like the idea of it. I thought it was like...
hocus pocus kind of stuff?
No, I just kind of... There was like an egotistical part of me that was like, no, lift weights. You got to lift weights, bro.
Right. I don't need that.
Yeah, you don't need to break down your muscles. You need to break them down to build them.
Right. Yeah.
I guess. I don't know.
Yeah, I know what you mean. And then you read this book and you're like, oh, okay, I guess I should start doing it.
Well, it's not just reading the book. It's trying to do some of the exercises. Just trying to put myself in the position of the person that I'm seeing in some of those pictures is extremely difficult. Mm-hmm. There's obviously a lot to the human body. Well,
that's part of it. So the athletic trainer I worked for was extremely knowledgeable in his field, and he would come, kids would come in and he'd do this and that and this and that and be like, oh, your patella's out of place. You need to go see a doctor and have them realign your patella or whatever it was. But he would just do this and that and he would know exactly what it was, and that just blew my mind that he's been an athletic trainer for 20 years when I was working for him. So I just thought it was so cool that he knew all this stuff. Anyways, that made me want to just go down the exercise science path. And I played sports my whole life, and it just kind of made sense to do it. And then all the prerequisites I took fit into that as well. So it was kind of like hitting two birds with one stone type deal.
So Since you're putting all this information out on the interwebs right now, what kind of job is it that you would want to get? A physical trainer? You can't be a physical trainer.
No,
You'd have to get more training, wouldn't you? No, a
You
physical therapist. I'm talking about
right, a physical therapist. Yeah, I can't be a physical therapist, but what I can do is I can work for a physical therapist. And what a physical therapist does is a patient will come in with an issue and they'll figure out what's going on and why the issue is happening and what the patient needs to do to fix the problem. And a physical therapist will give them exercises to do. I can be the person to take them through the exercises.
So like a physical trainer.
So it'd be a physical therapy assistant.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
What's the major difference there?
Between a physical therapist and a physical therapist assistant?
No, a physical therapist assistant and a physical trainer.
You mean an athletic trainer?
Is that the same thing?
Yeah, they actually don't like each other.
I'm reading a book. Did I say?
Yeah, physical therapists and athletic trainers don't like each other for whatever reason.
Oh,
I think
no,
it's
one of
because
those things.
yes, it's because they do the same job essentially.
Yours are just more specific to rehabilitation, likely. Or I mean, not yours, but I mean
athletic trainers are specific to athletic injuries, whereas physical therapists, it's like anything and everything. You know what I mean? It could just be like, I'm a stay-at-home mom and my back hurts. Why is this happening? Whereas an athletic trainer specifically just works with athletes.
Okay.
Yeah.
So is that what you would want to be as a physical therapist's assistant?
Yeah, that would probably be my ideal
Starting
yeah,
point?
honestly, because it's a 9 to 5, and that's what I want right now. I don't want anything with like weird, crazy hours, and I want just a simple 9 to 5 kind of deal. I just go and.
Well, what are some example? What's an example of a job career that would have strange hours?
Well, like an athletic trainer.
Oh, okay.
They have crazy hours. They have to be there at 5 o'clock in the morning for morning practices, and they have to stay until 10 o'clock at night for the late basketball games. The athletic trainer he that I worked for, that was his life. His job was his life, and I didn't want that. I didn't want my job to be my life. But he was there from 5 to 10 almost every day, and then he literally you go to all of the games, all of the home games. So think about like all the baseball games, all the basketball games, lacrosse, men's lacrosse, women's lacrosse, volleyball, all of them.
What about away games?
He doesn't go to the away games, no. He's just there for the home games.
So if you're there for the home games and the other team, the opponent, is not sending an athletic trainer.
He helps them too.
He has to help the other team.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then he's also there for just regular practice days as well. So he's there every single day, and typically not on Saturdays and Sundays. But you get the point, is that he's there all the time, all the freaking time.
I'm trying to think of like just a super duper lame sport that doesn't require any
Badminton. No, I don't know.
I mean, I love pool. I'm not very good, but I love pool.
Oh, yeah.
But if like there was a high school pool team and
Right.
he came to the athletic trainer and was like, "Hey, bro, like
I could see that, like some wrists.
my belly button itches or something." I don't know.
I need you to tape my belly button. But yeah, anyway, so probably a physical therapist assistant. I can also work in cardiac rehab. I could just be a personal trainer. But again, being a personal trainer, those are odd hours. You're working odd hours. You're working really early in the morning and really late at night.
I kind of had an idea what I wanted to do when I grew up from a very, very young age. The earliest that I can remember knowing that I wanted to do what I'm doing now, although I didn't know it at the time, just because video game development wasn't exactly a known career back in the early 90s.
Mm-hmm.
I knew that I wanted to do something with cartoons. Like I told myself, I want to be a cartoonist, because I couldn't think of the proper title, so I just took what it is that I liked and threw "ist" on the end.
Uh-huh.
But I knew that I wanted to do that at a very, very young age. And I feel like, I suppose that I got lucky with that. My dad was the same way. He's always wanted to be a pilot. Currently, he's a pilot for United, a commercial pilot. But he always wanted to be a pilot from the age of 2, my grandmother tells me. I'm not seeing any of that in our son yet. I mean, maybe he'll figure it out. But anyway, yeah, I've always known what it is that I wanted to do, and I'm glad that I work in video game development. I suppose that I would like to just stay in that career and maybe branch off in different directions in the future should I choose to challenge myself in different ways. Because with video game development, there's so much. And I'm not just talking like with the knowledge of how to create video games, there's so much, I mean. Because I'm not just talking about all of the different positions that it takes, that is required to make a video game. You've got the artists, the animators, the riggers, the environment artists, the hard surface modelers. Most of them do all the texturing as well. Then you've got effects, audio, producers, if you want to count them. That's so rude. They're good people. I actually love having producers. It was very strange when we made that transition from just get your work done. Just work forever and just get it done, to transitioning and the company growing a little bit to the point where we could have a producer that manages the time and tries to mitigate crunch as much as possible, does most of the communication. That's what our executive producer told us, is their job is pretty much just communicating, because everybody else sucks at communicating, especially in the video game industry. We just got our headphones on and we're just focused on our screen, keyboard and mouse, and that's it. So I'm pretty lucky, because with my degree, what I'm saying is there are many different areas that I could move into with my knowledge base, but I really like video game development. So as far as goals go, for me, if we're talking kind of career-wise, I've got too many of them. I've got way too many goals. There's so many things I want to do, and sometimes it's hard to narrow it down. And it's one of those things, too, where I wanted to do this podcast, and I thought it would just be, I'll just spend like 15 minutes a night recording every night, just 15 minutes a night. But there's so much more that goes into it that I don't know if I can really afford to have another hobby on top of that as well. So, which is sad, because there's a lot that I want to do. I've really got to pee. I wasn't prepared for this one. Can you see me like wiggling in my lounge sack?
Yeah, I was wondering
here?
what was going on with you.
Yeah, sorry. Oh, I just got to pee. All right. We're actually at a point where I don't want to end on that. Yeah, do you care if I just pause it and then we'll come back?
Yeah, that's fine, man.
Okay, cool. What a lame host. Okay, I'm back. I didn't wash my hands.
Gross.
So, that's going to have to be on the checklist of things that I do before I start recording. Go pee-pee. I mentioned that my dad's a pilot. He has a whole flight checklist that he has to go to prior to taking off, of course. And that's pretty important, because he's flying a plane with people on it. I'm just recording a podcast. But I'm going to need to do some kind of checklist. So it's going to be lights, camera,
Action.
Microphone, action. Yeah, that's sort of thing. Pee-pee somewhere prior to some of those.
Speaking of pee-pee, our son just pulls his pants down and pees whenever and wherever. he wants to. So I took them to the park today, the playground. The playgrounds are open for the first time in months. And I took him and the neighbor girl there, and he just pulls his pants down in the middle of the playground and goes.
He's 3 years old.
He's 3.
Is it weird that as a father, I kind of like that?
I think it's awesome, but I don't know if I should.
It's awesome until some dude in a van that says free candy on the side is just like,
right? I don't know if, I mean, and there were like 15 other people there too. No one stared and pointed and was like, look at that little boy or anything. But still, I was like, should I be like embarrassed, or should I run over and like try and stop him?
You know what's funny is he's super confident about the way that he does it too. So when he gets pissed off at us and we lock him out of the room because he's trying to hit our baby daughter or attack her because of jealousy or whatever, so we lock him out of our bedroom, he'll just piss on the carpet as a way of it's not marking his territory. It's just a way of saying like, fuck you guys. Like,
yeah.
It's
I know.
so strange.
Like he knows that because he's not supposed to do that, that he can do that as like a way of getting back at us. So
when I do see him pull his pants down and start pissing on the sidewalk or wherever, I say, hey buddy, let's just go use the potty. He'll turn his head like he'll look at me over his shoulder and he'll do the whole look of like, what the hell are you talking about? I am already I'm peeing right here. You're not going to stop me. It's just it's super confident. And it's kind of funny because I like it. I enjoy it. I mean, I don't enjoy that I don't enjoy him peeing. What I'm saying is I like the idea that he has the confidence to just piss wherever he wants.
I like it.
But in my previous days, when I was a kid, I lived in a cul-de-sac, and one of the neighborhood girls, she had a really young sister, a 3-year-old. I think she was almost 3 years old. Her sister was. One day she was playing outside with us, which she rarely was. The
3-year-old?
Yeah, because we were like 8, 9, 10 to 12. That was the range of the kids that we all played with. And so she didn't really play with us. But one day she walked out of her house and squatted down in the middle of the cul-de-sac and pissed. And all of us boys were
road?
like, yeah, on the road, on the asphalt. And all of us boys were like, ew, gross, she peed. And that's and I still have that memory. Like I was really grossed out by that, or like I just thought that was wrong. And I don't know why. I don't know if it's because like my parents didn't like put that in my head that it's gross to piss anywhere besides the toilet. Like no one like kind of forced that idea down my throat or anything. It's just, it's strange how I guess you change over time.
Yeah, that's.
I don't know what caused me to think that way, but yeah, now I've completely flipped. I almost kind of want someone to call me out because my son is pissing somewhere, just so I could practice my jiu-jitsu again. I really haven't been to jiu-jitsu in so long. No, I'm kidding.
No, he's only 3. I don't think anyone's gonna care. I mean, I think the people that care are me and you more than anyone else.
Yeah.
I mean, even the neighborhood girl is like, he's peeing again. Just like matter of fact, not like. And she'll just continue playing with whatever she's doing. She just says it out loud. He's peeing. And sometimes I don't even notice, and I look over. I'm like, he's peeing, and I'm like, oh, you just said that. Oh, okay, you were telling me. Whatever. I don't know what the point of that was, but I just think it's funny that he just goes and
There was one time where I was chatting with that little girl's mother.
Uh-huh.
And we were making eye contact because we were chatting. And I saw out of my peripheral that my son
He was peeing.
I just saw that little cute moon. And then
you're like, don't look at him. Don't look
at
the
golden stream with the sunlight like shining through it. And I said to her, "Avert your eyes." And she goes, "Huh?" And then she obviously didn't avert her eyes. She looked at my son and was like,
right.
Oh, he's peeing.
Yeah, had you just not said anything, it would have been fine.
I know.
Actually, I didn't want to tell you, when we went to Target with my mom, he went to the bathroom twice.
Oh, in the potty?
Like in the potty, and he told me.
A public restroom?
A public restroom.
During a pandemic?
Yeah.
What kind of parent are you?
You know what I have him do? I have him stand on the toilet seat.
Oh.
And pee into the toilet like that.
That's actually a really good idea.
Yeah, I pick him up, and he puts his feet on the toilet seat, and I don't feel bad.
Dang, you come up with some great ideas. Like, I come up with some amazing ideas, but you come up with some like very better than mediocre but less than amazing ideas.
Whatever.
That's actually a really good idea. Another example that I'm thinking of is putting the children's dishes, the clean dishes that they use for cereal and food and whatnot, putting those dishes in a low place.
So they can reach them. That is a very slightly better than mediocre idea. I love it. Fuck you.
No, I'm being sarcastic. That is actually, when you said that,
it just made sense.
It was one of those mind-blowing moments, like, oh yeah, duh.
Well, I was tired of them asking for me for dishes. I was like, you know what? I'm putting them down here so you guys can get them. I was tired of the oldest one saying, "Can you get me a bowl so I can have some cereal?
Mm-hmm.
Can you get me this so I can get some water?" I was like, you know what? I'm putting it all down here so you can do it yourself.
You've come up with some other ones too. I can't think of them right now. But no, I was joking about the mediocre thing. I was trying to be egotistical, but yeah, those are great. Those little life hacks.
Yeah.
It's pretty late here. Do you want to end on something specific?
I guess I just want to say congratulations.
Congratulations. Are you pregnant again?
No.
We're not doing that. We're not doing that anymore.
No.
Congratulations on what?
Congratulations
That was an inside joke. That was an inside joke because every single time that she's been pregnant, we've accepted, but we also didn't like when someone would say congratulations because
oh yeah.
And your whole point to that was it's not hard to get. I mean, for some people out there, it sadly is, but for us, it's not hard to get pregnant. It's the hard part is the actual birthing process.
Yeah. I think it's kind of lame when people say congratulations for anything like that. I got engaged. Congrats.
Yeah.
What?
That's another one.
He asked you a yes or no question. Like
when my mom showed me her ring from when she got engaged for what was soon to be her third husband, I said, "Oh, okay."
She got so upset at you.
She was so mad. She looked at me and she said, "Bryan, it's very polite to say congratulations when someone says that they're getting married." And I was like, "Oh, okay."
You're like, I know.
No, I didn't know.
You knew.
I genuinely didn't know that. I was like, "Oh, cool."
Whatever.
I'm serious, babe. I'm serious. I had no idea. Maybe if it was like a friend of mine, I instinctually would have said, "Oh, congratulations." But because it was my mom and she's already been through this process twice, I guess it just didn't click with me. I genuinely spaced out on that one. Anyway, you were congratulating me.
Congratulations on
this podcast.
On this podcast.
No,
the reason why I'm saying congratulations is because I saw you working on this, and you've spent a lot of hours and time and energy building this and putting this together. So that's why I'm saying congratulations.
Were you creeping on me? Were you standing in that window well down there just staring at me?
Maybe.
Was that you?
So I think this deserves a congratulations. Like, you did it.
Thanks. Let's turn this light back on. Cool.
Yeah.
That's so much better now. I mean, I knew that I always knew that the first episode, the first anything is always going to suck. This wasn't great, but I had a good time.
I had a good time too.
I actually really enjoy this.
Me too.
And I'm comfortable, which is good.
I think the
lounge
love
sex. So yeah, this was a rough first podcast. I'm gonna change it to a
maybe to listen to and watch.
But yeah, the first of anything is always rough, and we'll grow. We'll get better. I'll fix this sign.
Yeah, fix your shit. Why is it breaking on the first day?
I have no idea. You know, when I first plugged in those LED lights, I could feel them getting hot.
Oh, that's right. You told me that.
Yeah.
Because didn't you buy some for the guinea pig cage?
Yeah.
Oh, shit.
I was thinking about just using those to replace these ones, but I think I'm just going to return them both and just try again.
Are they both from the same?
Yeah, they're both the same thing.
Yeah,
so
aren't LEDs not supposed to get hot? Like, isn't that the whole point of LEDs?
You're talking to the wrong guy. I wouldn't know. I have no idea.
I thought that was like half the point of LEDs is like they don't get hot like regular bulbs.
Yeah, I don't know. I
don't know. Anyway, you did it.
Yeah, I did.
Yeah.
Started a podcast at the worst possible time.
High five.
No, we're not supposed to touch. We're supposed to be 6 feet apart.
What do you call what we did last
I'm gonna break the
night?
wall. Can we make it louder? Just do this. There we go. For the audio.
Yeah.
What was I saying? I was talking about something.
What?
I was talking about something. Fuck. I gotta get better at this. You don't remember?
The LEDs? What do you... No, I don't...
Well, that's the perfect way to end this.
Okay. Good night.
Anything else you want to say? All right, players. Thank you so much for listening. Keep grinding, keep playing, and I'll catch you at the next checkpoint. Bye.